Online gambling has exploded in popularity, offering players instant access to a variety of games through websites and mobile apps, often involving real money or cryptocurrencies. While the convenience and entertainment appeal to many, the industry's rapid growth reveals a more troubling side, with many platforms operating under weak or inconsistent regulation. As these issues mount, governments face a tough balancing act between supporting a lucrative industry and addressing its social consequences.
Effective today, all POGOs are banned.
Growing public concern is fueling calls for stronger regulations and greater protections to shield players from the risk associated with online gambling. Even here in the Philippines, online gambling has become widespread, fueled by the convenience of digital platforms and modern financial technologies. With just a smartphone and an internet connection, people can easily place bets anytime, anywhere. But this growing accessibility has raised serious concerns. Many Filipinos driven by financial hardship or simply seeking entertainment are turning to gambling, sometimes with devastating consequences. The first subject resides in the Sandawa area of Davao City. A student named Adrian Abing from Davao Doctors College was identified as experiencing online gambling addiction.
So, napili ka na mo, Eden Abing kay tungod magud sa akong uban na si Clinton, personal friend lang nako, in which is kauban pod nimo, timing ra. So, kato na-suggest niya sa ako na ikaw daw interview kay na-consider man niya na ang imong online gambling addiction daw kay dako kayo. So, kato ngano na convince ka na ipa-interview ka?
Na-convince ko kay sa ako among good kuan kay maramang good dili ko ma-open sa akong mga friends nga sa akong pagka-gambling addiction tapos diri gusto ko na ako experience nga may gawas o may kuan sa inyo ha para mahibalan niyo sa kuan sa akong pagka-addict.
So, Mr. Bing, kato, nag-ask ka ng convince ka ba na i-share mo experiences about sa online gambling addiction? So, comfortable ka na?
Oo, comfortable.
Kinsa nagpa-influence mo sa online gambling addiction? Considering na magud rason na ngano na start imong gambling addiction, na tapos asa na nagsugod o kinsa na nagpa-influence mo?
Katong una jud firstly sa butuan jud mi akong friend nga si Herbert. Tapos sa una katong sa una kwan jud mi kanang trippings lang magbarkada nga na dula-dula lang sa online gambling kay mga scatter, mga sports bet nga na naabot sa point nga murag nami goal nga i-apas na apas nga kwarta nga like 5 digits nga na among kuan kay sa una murag tip lang gud na about 300 pag maabot 300 cash out karon murag na addict na mi like greedy na mi tapos nabot sa point nga maabot 5,000 pero di maabot 5,000 na zero mi murag dito jud nagsugod.
Satisfied ka na kay ing-anin na addiction or
satisfied jud ko kay namagigituhan nga anong kwarta kami balik naman jud di ba? Tapos may times nga mapildi pero may times nga madaog may persyento lang na kanang kuan jud ang mabalance ang kuan ba paagi pero like ako kuan lang jud murag na-addict ko kay naay times itong like nadaog ko dako tapos dito murag na kuan na akong kuan ba nga ay pwede pa na ako ni mapadayon like nga na just wala na ako ginamain ka na akong pildi kay murag na ako ikuan jud ba na ako goal or capital gad sa kwarta nga akong igaapas.
Okay. So, Mr. Bing, nag-consider ka nang mag-approach sa imong friends. What about sa imong parents? Na kabalo ba sila na imong sitwasyon?
Wala.
Wala.
Kay di man ko comfortable mag-open sa ilaha kani akong addiction kay kasad ka ba si nga na kasukan nga na naman jud na point mo kasukan tapos ako magud kuan kay na ako nakoy part sa ako sarili nga abot sa point nga gusto jud na ako i-open sila ha, pero sa karon murag dili pa.
Okay. Respeto lang mo sa mga.
Sila ka.
Adrian Albing agreed to be interviewed because he found the setting more appropriate for sharing his struggles with online gambling, which he does not usually discuss with friends. Despite feeling some guilt after losses and keeping his addiction hidden from his parents, he continues gambling due to a belief in eventual wins and financial recovery. After gathering insights from the first subject, the interview continued with the aim of finding another individual to interview. This time, guided by a different thematic question, to further diversify the perspective on gambling addiction.
Hello, my laptop. Feel free to come in. I am Bjorn Sebastian Simoyka. I am 18 years old. I am currently residing at Avida Towers, Davao City. And for my education, I am currently studying at Ateneo de Davao Senior High School.
So, Bihor, estudyante pa ka, pero nag-consider pa ka og online gambling?
Yes po.
Okay. So, how often do you gamble?
I gamble frequently po and depends if how much money do I have.
If ato ay scale ang between winning and losing, which of it does it frequently happen to you?
Last week natalo ako, tapos ngayon, this week na naman, I've probably gained and won some money na natalo ko last week.
Okay.
And yun.
Okay. So, let's just say when it comes to winning, with that money you earn, what do you specifically do with it after winning it from a gamble?
Usually, yung ginawa ko is probably buy essentials like mga food, mga groceries dun sa money na na-win.
So, Bihor, are you comfortable when it comes to sharing one of your biggest loss and experience onto your online gambling history?
Yes, I'd be very comfortable to share.
Okay, so what will be that specific experience or situation?
My specific situation that happened was I was up by 4,500. I cashed in 500 pesos in the online gambling. And then eventually I lost it all, the 5,000 pesos, including my capital. So what I did was I cashed in another 1,000 pesos and then I lost it all from there on.
Ato ay consider ang imo winnings and losings. Was there a point in life where you consider na i-stop nimo ang imong online gambling addiction?
Yes, I have reached a point in my life where I've considered quitting gambling because when I was gambling and then suddenly I saw a quit gambling ad and I clicked on that link, and when I clicked that link there was a calculate your total expenses of how much you've gambled, and when I put my initial gamblings there, I realized that my total calculations could reach up above 6 digits, which is really big. And for it, I realized that instead of gambling that money, I could have invested it somewhere else better for myself and for my future.
Despite being a student, Bjorn openly admitted to engaging in gambling regularly. Depending on his available funds, he acknowledged having reached a critical point where he contemplated quitting the habit. Following the interaction with both interview subjects, it became evident that despite the differing thematic questions, their experiences reflected similar problems and struggles associated with gambling addiction. This raised a critical question. Why do individuals continue to engage in such behavior despite the consequences? At Ateneo de Davao University, contact was established with Sir Glenn Evangelista, a member of the university's College Wellness Center, who was regarded as a credible expert in student mental health and wellness. In the course of the discussion, he was asked whether he had encountered clients or individuals struggling with online gambling addiction.
Glenn Evangelista, have you encountered clients or individuals during your consultation who are struggling with online gambling addiction?
Yes, many times.
Many times.
But not only online.
not only online.
May gambling
It's okay.
din. Are we particular with the online?
Yes. So, considering you've experienced, could you share your experiences working with these individuals if it's okay? Like, what were some of the common patterns or behavior you noticed in your cases?
Okay, the obsessive compulsive.
Yes. Like that.
Okay, I'll give you a case wherein these online gamblers are losing their sense of direction. Like for a family man to provide, they lose their sense of being the provider, and they're spending all their resources sa gambling. So when it comes kasi to gambling, it becomes a disease or it becomes a disorder depending on the effect doon sa tao.
Reflecting on Adrian Abing's problem, the expert identified peer influence as a significant factor in development of gambling habits, particularly among young people. He recounted that many individuals were introduced to gambling through someone close to them.
Thank you for the answer, Mr. Jen. And here we will introduce both of the subjects we've interviewed so far. One of them had some similar experiences and such, but they have different themes in which our first subject experienced exposure theme, who influenced them, and also for the second subject is someone who experienced like big losses when it comes to their gambling addiction. So as for subject 1, do you agree that it's really significant when it comes to the role of peer influence of social exposure played on a significant role? Basically, the influence of someone gives a big impact to someone who haven't experienced like online gambling.
Recalling my clients, yes,
Yes.
somebody introduced that gambling to them.
With those, what are the psychological or social factors that might make someone more susceptible to being influenced by peers in this context?
For the young ones, kasi I have a senior na case, senior citizen na case. For the young gambling, you have gambling disorder. It's more on the peer and to belong. Kasi I consider yung games, online games with betting, na addict sila doon eh. And then, sa tulong ng mga kaibigan, they go play as a group eh. So, it plays a bigger role. For the older adults, it's more on, yung isang case ka na senior citizen, it's more on just to be happy, to spend time, na it goes along and then naubos na yung mga pera.
Are there common warning signs or red flags that indicate when social exposure is turning into risky behavior? Considering that as of this now generation?
Yes. The red flag is when you're spending so much time for it, at saka so much money and resources.
How can intervention be designed to counteract the peer pressure component and promote healthier decision making?
Choose your friends. Second is intervention. Go to ask professional help. Professional help will really be a good way of dealing with it. Then if not, yung worst case, meron kasi akong mga worst, yung mga gambling addicts na tinatawag nila or yung mga disorder, sa talaga sa rehabilitation center.
From your perspectives, what psychological mechanism might drive someone to continue gambling despite consistent losses or minimal reward?
If you're familiar with the classical conditioning that is in psychology, ganito kasi yung mindset nila. It gives them excitement. I can see the delight in their face pag they're talking about gambling. Then yun yung motivates them. Sometimes man is thrill-seeking animal. So, yun na yung gives them delight.
How does this behavior affect the deeper emotional or neurological components of addiction?
According sa mga research, even yung brain ng gambling addict at saka yung substance abuse na addicts are the same. Merong something about that. And then maraming factors. Meron ako isa na it runs with their family. Meron naman iba na talagang wala sa pamilya pero na-addict siya dun sa
In cases like subject 2, what are some effective approaches or treatment models that have shown promise in breaking the cycle of compulsive gambling?
yun sa rehab. Kasi doon talagang naka-close sila, sila na environment.
Addressing the psychological mechanism behind persistent gambling despite continuous losses. The expert referenced classical conditioning. He noted that gamblers often associate the activity with excitement and thrill, which becomes a source of emotional gratification.
Sometimes man is thrill-seeking animal. So, yun na yung what gives them delight.
Individuals who engage in online gambling may come from diverse backgrounds and face varying circumstances. Yet, they often exhibit similar behavioral patterns and face comparable consequences. For instance, Adrian was influenced by peer pressure, while Bjorn began gambling out of personal curiosity and desire. Despite these differing motivations, their experiences reflect a common struggle: